Hello, successful people. Welcome back to the Iron Fire Success Channel.
The channel where we give you the information, motivation, and inspiration you need to overcome obstacles and achieve your goals and your dreams.
I'm DK.
And I'm Mo. And in today's video, we're going to talk about essential financial terms that you need to know for the new home construction process.
And just so you know, we're not giving financial advice. We're not financial advisors or real estate agents. We're two people just like you who are interested in building a home and had to start somewhere. The information in this video comes from the over 3 years worth of asking questions of sales reps, visiting model homes, working with our own sales rep, our real estate agent, and doing YouTube video research as well as Googling. We are in the 5 to 6 month mark of building our own new custom home. And so we're just sharing with you some of the terms that it took us a long time to be able to understand.
And what we've done is created a roadmap of the new home construction process to help walk us through these financial terms.
Okay, so let's get started. This roadmap represents the general flow of a custom home building process and the semi-custom home building process. The financial terms that are written in red apply to the custom home building process, and those written in the aqua color apply to the semi-custom home building process. Where you see things written in white, it'll apply to both the custom and semi-custom home process. You'll see that we started farther back with the custom home process. That's because there's just a few more steps there that start before the semi-custom building process gets started. And with that, let's look at our first financial term. The first step in building a custom home is to buy the land. That's why the first term here is lot purchase. The lot purchase is a transaction where you buy the land from the developer, you provide a down payment and take out a land loan, which is a different kind of loan than the other loans that will come up in the home building process. And you have to pay the mortgage on that land loan until you take out the construction loan to build the house.
But before you purchase that lot, make sure you ask the builder if there are any incentives.
What's an incentive?
An incentive is a discount or a credit the builder offers to encourage customers to build. The incentives can be something that would typically cost extra money that the builder waives, like a lot premium or the cost of adding a room. Sometimes the incentives are builder credits towards a particular use, like towards upgrades or money for closing costs. Incentives can also be discounts on the price of the home for veterans or for using the builder's preferred lender.
Okay, I'll ask about any incentives before I purchase the lot. The next stop on our roadmap says floor plan design deposit. This is a stop for custom home building customers after you've engaged the builder. I think this is a good point for us to talk about the difference between a fee and a deposit. I'll talk about what a fee is, and I'll ask Mo to describe a deposit. So a fee is usually an amount of money that you pay in order to complete a transaction. It does not actually get credited to the final price of your home, and it's just kind of like extra money that you'll pay in order to get something done. What's a deposit?
A deposit is a partial prepayment for certain parts of the building project, such as design center upgrade choices or landscaping. A deposit given to the builder at the time you sign the contract for a new home is called an earnest money deposit.
So a deposit is money that is credited toward the overall price of the home, while a fee is extra money that you pay to get a transaction done.
Correct.
So this architectural floor plan design deposit is money that a custom home builder pays for the architect's time while they're designing their custom home. This one's a little bit tricky, right, Mo? Because while it is a deposit, which if you built with that builder will get credited to the final price. But if you don't go with that builder, it becomes a fee. And Mo, talk about that. Why is that?
It becomes a fee because the builder has already rendered those services.
And you don't get to keep the floor plan design most of the time either. So you paid for the floor plan design, and it's a deposit because we plan on building with the builder.
We're going to pause on the custom building process and talk about the semi-custom process, because our next term is actually the start of the semi-custom process, which is lot premiums.
Okay, so what's a lot premium?
A lot premium is the builder's additional charge for a lot with desirable attributes such as space, scenic views, backup to trees or green space, or in a desirable location like a cul-de-sac.
So when do you pay the lot premium? Some of you might be wondering. So typically, if you go into a new home community and you go into the sales office, building a semi-custom home starts off with you choosing which lot you like. Now, sometimes you can choose that lot and then pay the lot premium a few days later. Sometimes you need to pay it on the spot to hold the lot. But in any case, usually that's the very first thing that you'll do. And sometimes people will actually pay for the lot premium and then get into contracting for the home all in the same visit. But there's also a possibility that a lot could be free and there is no premium associated with it.
But in any case, before you pay any premiums, make sure you ask the builder if there are any incentives.
That's right. Okay, ask about those incentives. Okay, so now we have our lot premium. We've picked out our lot for the semi-custom home. We have our lot purchased for the custom home. We've paid for the architectural design floor plan for our custom home. The next step in our roadmap is actually the start of the semi-custom home building process. And it's a place where the custom building process and the semi-custom process kind of are the same thing. So for the semi-custom home building process, what do we have here? Let's see, we have base price, we have structural upgrades, and then we have an elevation fee. So let's take each one separately. Mo, tell us about the base price.
So the base price is the builder's starting point for the price of the home. The base price includes the standard lot price, as is floor plan, and features included in the contract before adding any options such as lot premiums, elevations, and changes to the floor plan or any upgrades.
Okay, so there's also a base price for a custom home, right? Not just semi-custom. It's usually shown as the starting from price. You've probably seen that on signs. For a custom home, let's talk about how the builder determines the base price. It's the square feet of your home multiplied by a price per square foot, and the builder calculates the base price for what it is that they're building for you. And so in the semi-custom and custom home building process, that base price has other things added onto it in order to get what your contract price is going to be. We already talked about the lot premium, so that's added on. Let's talk about structural upgrades. What are those?
So a structural upgrade is an upgrade to the actual structure of your home. Things such as the height of your doors, ceiling treatments, deciding to add extra square footage to patios and such.
Sliding glass doors. Let's say you add a bathroom or you add an extra bedroom. Or if you're going to get a spa shower or a chef's kitchen, something that changes the actual configuration of the floor plan that needs to be identified at the time you contract is going to be a structural upgrade. Okay, so in semi-custom, there's structural upgrades. In custom, there's structural upgrades. Let's talk about this elevation fee that's on our roadmap that applies to a semi-custom build. What's an elevation?
So an elevation is the home's exterior appearance as it appears in the design drawing that shows all sides of the house. The elevation design includes design elements such as the roof line and the pitch, which is the slope of the roof, door and window placement, and the home's materials such as stone, stucco, brick, board, and batten. Each elevation may have distinctive features that impact the home's design elements. Builders may also charge an extra fee for a specific elevation.
Okay, so let's add up what we have. We, in the semi-custom process, we could have a lot premium, maybe not. We could have an elevation fee, maybe not. If you made any structural upgrade changes, and then there's the base price. All of these things added together make the contract price. In the custom home building world, it's something similar. All of these things are taken into consideration, even if they don't have individual price tags to get the contract price. Now, the next stop on our roadmap says earnest money deposit. Mo, what is this earnest money deposit all about?
So the earnest money deposit, which is also called a good faith deposit, is a type of deposit that the buyer gives the builder at the time the buyer signs the new home construction contract with that particular builder.
Okay, so now that we've given our earnest money deposit, and deposit, remember, is credited to the final price of your home. So the next stop on our roadmap says construction loan, and this is in red because it's only for custom home building customers. There is no construction loan typically when building a semi-custom home, because in a semi-custom home project, typically the builder owns the land. However, in a custom home building project, remember, we started off with the customer taking out a land loan and buying the land first. So let's talk about, what is a construction loan?
A construction loan is a loan that you take out so that you can pay the builder while your home is being constructed.
And when you're saying pay the builder while the home is being constructed, you're talking about the actual costs, right, associated with the construction itself?
Yes.
Okay. So one thing that I want to mention here is, although the next stop on our roadmap is interior design upgrades, for a custom builder, usually you've talked about what those costs are going to be, even if you don't know exactly what they are, because those things have to be taken into consideration when you take out a construction loan. However, in the semi-custom home building process, there is no construction loan. And typically after you paid your earnest money, the next thing you do is deal with interior design upgrades. Now, let's talk about how this is done in a custom home building project. In a custom home building project, the amount of money for your upgrades is called an allowance. Mo, tell us what the definition of allowance is, please.
So an allowance is an amount of money allocated in the contract to cover an area of the building project where the exact cost is yet to be determined. Custom home builders frequently use allowances to set aside an amount of money in the contract to cover areas like kitchen appliances, bathroom fixtures, flooring, and tile. The buyer uses the allowance as the budget when choosing the exact items later. The buyer pays for any overages if the selected items exceed the allowance amount.
And for a semi-custom customer, typically the interior design upgrades are made at the design center meeting. At this meeting, you can pick out your tile, your carpet, your internal fixtures, your plank flooring, your appliances, sinks, everything that goes into the interior design of the house. Now, not all builders will require you to make a deposit at the time you choose what your design center options are going to be. Typically, that deposit is a percentage of the total amount that you've spent at the design center. Next up in our building process is the house actually gets built. Now notice here on the roadmap, you have most of these things here in red, because for a semi-custom home building customer, you are not making payments to the builder or to anybody else while your home is under construction. But for the custom home building customer, there are financial terms and payments you need to know about that need to be made. The very first one of these I'm going to talk about are soft costs. This is something that Mo and I did not know about until we actually had already given our earnest money and signed the contract and took out our construction loan. These soft costs are the startup costs for initiating the construction. What were they?
There are costs for things like any permits,
Right.
any HOA fees, getting utilities started
Right.
for your build.
Clearing the land was one of those. It's like all those prep costs, right? There were prep costs before the foundation was done, surveying. All of that stuff goes into soft costs. Now, what's interesting about that, and I advise you to ask, is whether those soft costs are going to be taken out of your construction loan, or whether you're going to be expected to present a check to your builder to cover the costs of those soft costs, because those things could be, anywhere between $10,000 and $20,000 or more. So it's important to know what those startup costs or soft costs are. So the next thing that happens, or I should say, if those soft costs are going to be taken out of your construction loan, the way that happens is through a draw. Okay, Mo, tell us what a draw is.
So a draw is a request from your builder from your construction loan to pay for the progression of the construction of your home.
So the builder hires workers to work on your home, let's say framing. The framing is done, the framer submits a bill to the builder, and then the builder is asking for your lender to give them money out of your construction loan to pay for those framers.
Yes, that is
Okay.
correct.
Okay, so after that, then what happens?
Well, after that, the lender will then ask the borrower to make a payment based on the amount of that draw.
Okay, so when you say based on the amount, it's a percentage, right? Not the whole amount.
Correct.
Okay. And are those what progress payments are on this roadmap?
Yes.
Okay, so let me make sure I understand this. Builder is hiring tradespeople to do work and build the house. They submit a bill to your lender and to make a draw down from your construction loan. Then you have to pay a payment to the lender, which is usually a percentage of the amount of money that the builder has drawn out of your construction loan.
Correct.
Okay. And in a custom home, those payments are being made throughout the time that the house is being built.
That is correct. Monthly, normally.
Okay. All right. And the next thing we have here on our list are change orders. I don't know if we talked about change orders before. What is a change order?
So a change order is a request the buyer makes to change something after the contract is signed. Change orders are a useful tool for the buyer to add something they forgot or to change something that they don't like. Too many change orders can delay the building project, and builders typically charge a fee for change orders.
Okay, so while it's good to have the option of including something you forgot or changing something you don't like, there is a fee that is charged in order to do that. So
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, next on our roadmap, we're coming to the closing. Yay! If you're a semi-home custom building customer, you haven't had to pay any of these progress payments. If you're building a custom home, you've had to do that, but now you're at closing. Okay, here is where that down payment I was talking about earlier might come into play. So depending on what kind of loan product you use, that and your credit and work history and whatever, the lender is going to assess whether or not you need to put any money down. You might be using a 1%, 3%, 20% down loan product, or maybe a VA loan where you don't have to make a down payment. But usually when you hear the word down payment, it's referring to a down payment made at closing based on what kind of loan you're taking out.
With everything, you should ask the builder if there are any incentives to pay closing costs, and of course other incentives that they may be willing to pay at closing.
Okay, so that's great to know. So that's another place to ask about incentives. The last thing here on this roadmap that I wanted to mention, I'm going to have to read it off this paper to make sure I keep this straight, are SIDS and LIDs. Now, I had never heard of these before, and I do know someone that built a home and did have to pay a SID or a LID, but because we learned about it, we're going to tell you what it is. A SID stands for a Special Improvement District, and LID stands for Local Improvement District. When a developer begins building a large building project by developing raw land, the building for the master plan community, the building plan rather, includes things like lights, sewer system, water, streets, etc. And so the municipality, usually the city or the county, installs these infrastructure things into the master plan community. Oh, also fire hydrants, I forgot about that. The developer can either pay to get these things put in, or they can add them to the sales price of each lot. Or the developer can pass the buck to the whole community. If the community pays, meaning the community being you, the person who's building a home in this community, the municipality now creates an improvement district. The improvement costs are then divided among the residents in that improvement district. The property owners must pay this fee called the SID or the LID monthly, could be semi-annually or annually for a preset number of years. So what that would look like is the homeowner paying this fee 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. They usually tell you what the time period is. And the fee could be, $50 or it could be $300. And what you're doing is you're paying for the fact that the developer had to pay the city or the municipality to get the water, the fire hydrants, electricity, sewer, gas, and whatnot. So even though this is at the end of this roadmap, really, to me, I would ask about it before even picking that master plan community, because you're talking extra money added on top of your mortgage, right?
And on top of any HOA fees.
Oh, right. That's also true. Okay, well, that is the end of our roadmap. If you would like the definitions and for yourself, go to our blog at www.ironfiresuccess.com. We have an article there, 17 terms you really need to know for new construction. It includes other things that are not financial there. So you'll find some of the things we talked about here are not on that list, but then there's other things we didn't talk about that are on the list. Also, check out our video, Custom Home Pricing Explained. You do the math. That way you can get a breakdown of exactly what goes into the final price of your home and explain further some of the things we've mentioned in this video. Thank you so much to our subscribers for your support. We really appreciate it. Please subscribe, like, and give us comments and feedback on this channel. We'd like to make sure we provide content that's helpful and useful to you.
And as always, be peaceful and count your blessings.